Whenever I buy something on eBay, I tend to, at the same time, look through the seller's listings, particularly the Chinese ones, and see what else they've got, and maybe add a little random thing into the order. And these keep popping up. These are the glowing USB leads. And now, if I plug this into a USB port, is this going to show? I'm not sure. You may see the dots. I'm going to turn the lights off so you can see this. There we go. Oh, that looks so nice. And this is glowing basically with lots of little dots of light from one end to the other. And it kind of it varies in intensity depending on which side you view it from and which direction you view it from. And initially I couldn't work out if these, it looked to me like it was almost like a side glow fibre optic, but then I thought maybe it is actually little surface mount LEDs mounted all the way along, because they could do that if they used 3 wires, the positive, the plus 5 volt, the negative. I think they actually put the data lines down here as well. I can see a few wires, but I thought maybe positive, negative, and then just a current limited feed down for surface mount LEDs tacked between that and the negative. But I got this to take it to bits because it wasn't very expensive, and I've already had this open because I just couldn't wait, to be honest. And it comes apart with a bit of screwdrivering and Stanley knifing because it kind of clips together, but it's also kind of glued in a way as well. So let's see if I can take this apart in a sensible manner that doesn't... There we go. So inside it's got the circuit board and it's got an LED and a little cap, and it is fibre optic. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, let's see what's at current this draws, and I stuck it into the power meter and thought, oh crikey, that's quite high for one LED. So I got the meter. Oh, let's measure the value of the resistor in here first. The value of the resistor in series with the LED across the 5 volt supply is 51 ohm. Oh, that's spot on, 51 ohm. Jolly good. And the voltage across it when it's lit is... Voltage across that resistor is 2.249. Let's say 2.25. So let's do the maths. I equals V over R. 2.25, oh that's not a good start, 2.25 divided by the 51 ohms equals 44 milliamps. Now I have to say the current rating of the typical 3mm LED is 20 milliamp at best. So pushing this little LED at about over twice its rating. I mean, I'd normally run these LEDs around about 15 milliamps tops. So in the Big Clive rating, it's running it at about 5 times what I had actually. It's not 5, 3 times. I was thinking Big Clive 5. So it's running the LED much higher than I'd normally want to run that. So I'm not sure how long it's going to last. But I wonder. It's such a nice effect when you actually plug this in and you have it maybe just hold it down a door frame or something like that. It's actually surprisingly consistent, the brightness from one end to the other. So can I get this fibre optic out? Well, let's try. So the other end, the fibre optic just seems to terminate, and it seems to terminate quite brightly on the other end. Let's use the knife of certain impalement, and let's see if I can impale myself. It happens from time to time. That's what Stanley knives are actually for. They're for impaling yourself. They're so useful, but when things go wrong, they're so mean. But the older I get, the less likely I am to impale myself. I'm saying that because I may just impale myself, and I just want to cover myself if I do, and say, oh, there you go, I predicted it. So this one has a similar, I might just impale myself with a screwdriver in fact, just for a bit of variety. This one has a similar arrangement to the other end, I think, where it was it had a couple of pins at one end, and then and the case is put together with a couple of pins at one end for alignment, and then it was just seemed to be just glued. So let's plug this in again and see how bright that end thing is. Oh yeah, it's actually, it fires out quite a bit of light from the end. Not bad. Right, let's get the knife into this and see if we can slit this out in some way. So the fibre optic terminates there. I'll just crop that off. Bang, off comes that, because I certainly won't be using this as a charging lead now. This appears to be kind of fused on. So let's unfuse it with the power of the magic snips. And then I may just slit the cable. If this isn't going to open easily, I may just slit it in the same style I'd normally strip cables. And this is another opportunity to impale myself. I'm quite tempted actually. If I can start this ripping, it would... oh, it is actually ripping. But it's also quite chewy. I don't know if the fibre optic is... well, the fibre optic is not too tightly laid into that. I think there is a chance that I can get this out. Let's use the knife in earnest. Cutting towards myself just to completely upset health and safety executive. Oh, God, that's really quite chewy. Oh, I've snapped the fibre optic, but oh, no, it's still intact. I'll just keep going from the end. Ooh, now let's see, how are they actually getting the light to come out in those little dots? Oh, this is quite a fragile fibre optic. Oh, I've just snapped the fibre optic. That's okay, I'm not too bothered about that. Yes, I am. I'm actually emotionally shattered about that. I'm going to have to buy another one now. Let's fire a torch up the end of it. I'll tell you what, that really needs the LED just rammed up the end of it to get the effect. Let's keep stripping, shall we? This is kind of really all moulded together. It must all just be put together in the, basically in the one process. And the cores really aren't coming out easily. No, I'm going to have to use the magic knife again. Oh, this is not easy. There's an approach that might work, actually, slitting down between the two of the cores, the actual USB cores. Oh, that does actually guide the knife. This may be the way to go in the future. If I choose to pull these out, I wonder if we can get the fibre optic on its own. Probably not. Or knowing the usual situation with Chinese stuff, you'd end up paying shitloads more for the fibre optic than you would just getting little bits of it supplied in USB charging leads. It's quite odd to see an application like this. Cyclo fibre optic has been around for a long time, but it's always kind of odd to see it find such a niche, or should I say such a mass-produced application at this sort of time in the game, because it's been around for a while. I think I'm going to have to remove this thingy here. Yeah, I'm really butchering this, am I? It really isn't intended to come to parts. It might have been better actually left together. But these things must be tried. Right, can I rip this fibre optic out now in a delicate and controlled manner? I can't even find the fibre optic in this now. I guess if I plugged it in I'd find it. It's there. Right, here's the fibre optic in here. Let's see if I can get this out now. Without doing any more damage. I'm not sure I can. This is really bonded into this cable. Oh yeah, that is just not. That is not fun at all, is it? I was kind of hoping I'd just split this like, you know, zip cord and then just hoik the cable out, the fibre optic, and it would come out. But firstly, it's just that wee bit fragile. Ugh. This is going to break again, isn't it? Yes, it is. I think it's breaking on the sort of fracture points they've got in it. I think this is the time I should crack out the little microscope and see if I can find one of those fracture points and see what it looks like. I think, looking at this so far, that it might actually just be absolutely invisible. An etching onto the side, or a slight scribing on the side of the fibre optic, just breaking the sheath. It is. It's just a very slight abrasion in the side of the sheath. Almost like someone just touched it with a soldering iron. Can I show you this? What have I got here that I could possibly try and show you this with? I'm going to try doing something very scientific that may not work. I'm going to try putting a microscope up under the iPad lens and see if I can possibly get this to focus. Oh, that's a lovely picture of my chawed skin. Now where is one of these abrasions? I'm not actually seeing anything coming up in this iPad screen here at the moment. Oh, this is doomed to failure, I think. No, I'll try turning the light off on it and see if that works. No, this is I think this is doomed to failure here. The fibre's there, but it's just proving very hard to see. Oh, I think that's about as far as you're going to get, that little dot there. No, that's a failure. But anyway, if you can imagine that it looks like a standard fibre optic with tiny little indentations in the side that's creating that sort of side glow dot effect, then that's what it is. But it also appears it's extremely fragile and not salvageable reliably. So if you like these, if you like the effect, then just keep it intact. What you could do is you could just cut the end off if you wanted it to end rather abruptly without a connector on the end, or one of these strain reliefs, and as long as the wires weren't shorting out inside it should be fine, and just plug it into some sort of USB power supply. But you know what, I think I'm going to get another one of these because it's actually quite nice. The end cap is just, it's actually a hard moulded bit of plastic with the port for the fibre optic, and it just goes over a standard though grossly overdriven LED, 3mm LED. Oh, that was interesting. It was well worth the money. It was fine. I quite enjoyed taking that to bits, but it wasn't terribly fruitful. But it had to be done.